Okay, where we're at is on page Mem. We're reading the top here again. He says, so this is the Tevis Mincha Mora ala Gevuros. It teaches about Gevuros. He said, Gam da, ki ne kol chadinim hem migevuros mansapach. Okay, so my understanding is Gevuros mansapach, talking about it again. He says these are sweetened dinim. V'osius man, the mincha, hem shnei osius rishonus, the mansapach. Somewhere else, either in the Rishash or elsewhere, we've seen that mansapach taken apart before. And let's go on. Gam noida, so he says you also have to know this. Ki achamesh gevuros mansapach, chozrin lehiskabet, bechut mekadisha, which is the os ches. Did we learn this already? I don't remember. Yeah. Oh, we did. So where are we exactly then? Are we on the next one? Hatam Shanik. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. That sounded familiar, right? Tom. So we're on page Membet then. So he says Tom Shanikra Mishkan Shiloh b'shem Menucha, which is the word Mincha with the vav in it. V'hin echad nisbayer ki azivug the Mincha hu besod ach ba'ach. Kashir kumazer anpin kula. So it is a yichud. Now, what is he talking about? That sounds like the yichud of Rachel and Yaakov, but I'm not sure what he meant. So this only took place at the Mishkan Shiloh, where the yichud was back to back. So this is the remez they got from the rabbis. Ela menucha zucha Mishkan Shiloh, but this menucha is in the Mishkan Shiloh of El Anachla bezucha bebeis alamim. Kisham b'Mishkan Shiloh choya hazivug gam kain al derek hanizgar is also back to back. Ve'lo chameim osis menucha mincha vav, he says. Pirish ki mincha he bechinas hagavura dezer anpin anikra vav. So we had in the Risaruk, he says, even though it's a vav which represents Tiferes, but even so, it's that was over there. Let's come over here and see what he says on number tes. So he said, "V'hinen is boyer is zivug that." So let's go on. Kavarn is boyer shebemincha nasim zivug bebechinas ach ba'ach b'shir kol kumas azer anpin. Ba'ayin shefa kavanos, so there's something over here, the shefa kavanos. Ba'atach bevar harav be'ezes man shal klalos meshach shanos olam. So according to the time, hoya nohe bechinas zivug azeh, you had this zivug taking place there. Let me see. Let's look at the Shefa Kavanos. I think I skipped this one, and I just went real fast, and I skipped it. V'hinas barak is zivug de mincho hu b'seder ach ba'ach. No the she'ein mitziyah shel zivug she'yeh mamash b'chamidas ach ba'ach. So remember all of this. The kol hazivugim na'asach b'midas pana b'pana. That's the only way you can have yichud. Rak the yeshnam zivugim. Zivug ach ba'ach, but there are yichudim that are really called by that name. V'mafar shechem amdach bezecha devayer ezes zivug the mincha begavana zivug ach ba'ach umadua, and why? I'm still trying to wait to hear him say that this is a yichud of Yaakov and Rachel. So he said v'yesh b'shekasa b'sidek kol Yaakov. He says she'akavana kan. Of the zivug the Yisroel of Leah. So no, he's talking about the zivug that we're talking about, mitzad the kelim b'panimium, but we're talking about, it's a little tricky, it's the yichud that takes place, and it's in regard to the kelim b'panimium. Mashahu nikra zivug ach ba'ach, and the fact that it's calling a zivug of backsides, who mishum shekal hazivug nivchanim lefi erik matzav amidus rachel, because when we talk about zivugim, everything is distinguished according to the relationship that it has with the position of Rachel. Kevin Shehi Karas Abayis. So since she's the really important person in the house, or she's like Karas Abayis, And now we're saying like this, that since she's really standing in the back of Zer Anpin, which we said, and she grows all the way up to the top, so because the main thing is Rachel. Now this is a little bit elusive for me, the thought here. So let's try and understand it. I guess it's the most minimum relationship. Since at this point we have coming into Zer Anpin only the Vav Kitzvos of Ima, that's one explanation. I'm not sure how that helped me. So therefore, it's not a complete. You don't have all the mochin. You don't have from other places. We know that you have to have chachma in order to make a yichud panim b'panim. So over here, you only have. I guess he's talking about Kriyishim. I don't know exactly where we're at here. He said, "Bedakta the eve of achirim pirsha." The other place they like this. Al nahar. Let's see. Let's skip the parentheses. The Hakavanot kan the zivug Yaakov Rachel the kelim emseim ana'asa b'mencha, which takes place at mencha time. Now, previously said the panemium that we were talking about. I'm not sure what he means. So that yichud is called by that name. Which is really what is mesukin at mincha time. If you look at it in terms of the yichud that took place at Shachris, which is the yichud panimi, who bechinas ach ba'ach. Relative to it, it's considered to be ach ba'ach. However, it doesn't really explain this to me the way I would like it. So relationship, he's saying that relatively speaking, in relationship to the first tikkun, which is panim b'panim, which is the tikkun of the panimius, he says the zivug panimi. He says this is going to be called ach ba'ach because I'm not sure. I guess if the sparks that fly out of it are less. I'm not sure because it's in the middle. I don't know. Let's just read one more. He says like this: Kashir kumaser ampin kula. So this actually sounds like once again the yichud that takes place with Rachel. So he says Kashir kumaza azah kula. Yesh the tamoy. You have to wonder about this. That the kol hashitos ain't a zivug amar kan naasa kashir kumaser ampin. It's not the whole one. That's the one that takes place with Rachel when she's at his height. But here we're talking about back to back. The lahalom deim shakavana the zivug Yisroel of Leah says, according to those who learn it like that, I mean this boy Leah we explained up above. The chasivug naasa mahaku lamala the mehachaza v'lamala the zer anpin. So okay, it's taking place in a specific area zer anpin and not the whole length of zer anpin. But if there's people that learn that it's a yichud the chazal lamala with Yisroel and Leah, and there are those who learn that it's taking place with Yaakov and Rachel, the Kelim Emseim, but it's really talking about that yichud, but that yichud is taking place in the Kelim Emseim. The Yaakov and Rachel who can negate the nai to their anpin, so this is really taking place where? It's really placing from the nai of Zer Anpin. It's not up there in the chaza. Kebeshachris, like a chakra sign, but you and B'Shem and Sason, Masha Yasha B'Zeh, the Shitaso. Okay, and that's where we're at there. Moving on a little bit more, we'll go to the next page, and he says, So Pasa V'Yera Menucha Kito. We'll see Menucha rest. So we're talking still, I think, about Shiloh. Gam says so v'yera menucha kitov because it's good. Kihu nimshach min areish zayin olamos the bistar yamina which are on the right side. Shuhu hachesed hanikra tov which is the good side. So he says that the menucha here is going on the idea of tov. Over hitstarf of kulam. So if you take the 103 which we're talking about is mencha. And he has this concept of menucha also. He says if you take that, which is 103, and you add it on to the 207, you're going to have that yesh. Alamos, v'hideh of osius, elu b'shech of mincha, Hamoros ala gevuras v'chadinim, which is really teaching us about the gevuras and the dinim. Yachsuch le'asid le'bal v'hiya oses l'chama. They're going to, in the future, well, I guess, that the change will become, instead of menucha or mincha, which is malashon din, to become the chama, which is comforting. Let's see over here where we're starting. Okay, there was one that we left out before, and that's on number Yud, which was at the bottom of that page, and that was going on the phrase Lo choya ela b'mishkan Shiloh, the Zecher b'masha Ramaz Razal. So this is what the rabbis are referring to. El hamanucha Zecher mishkan Shiloh, vel hanachlech b'zucha b'beis halomim. So exactly what this ki sham b'mishkan Shiloh. Gam came al derek nizgar. The yichud was like we said, what he said, back to back. Veilochem osis menucha min chavov. Pirush kera mincha he bebechidas hagevuras. There's anpin on nikra. In this case, it's called vav, by the name vav. Let's see a little bit more. Be'esh amad mishkan zi ashilo. At that time, as we just described it, which meant it's either the yichud emsoi between Rachel and Yaakov, which doesn't seem right, or to me, or it's just relative. He said it's relatively speaking. If you relate it to the yichud that takes place in Shacharis, we call it ach ba'ach. Kamo be'ez hamincha, like at mincha time. Bezecha v'nirmes b'baymecha b'zal al pasuk ki lo basam ad ata el menucha v'el hanachlo. So you haven't come right to that place, that special place. El hamenucha zem mishkan Shiloh. So the menucha is mishkan Shiloh. Why? The menucha osis min chavav. What do we get out of that? So we know mincha romes al dinim v'gevuras k'nizker. Is of os vav mora al zer anpin k'noided. The os is shem havaya. So he's saying k'neged chamisha partzufin datzilus. So hukotza shal yod. He goes through it. Shal yud k'neged erech, and the yud is abba, and the hey is ima, and the vav is zer anpin, and the hey is achrona, is the nuk. Nimsa is the betebas menucha, so therefore comes out like this. In the word menucha, which is referring to Shiloh, nir mezucha gevuras of shechal chazah, it's really a reference to the gevuras in zer anpin. Shekain b'mishkan Shiloh, choyin noheg oz hazivug hanoheg b'mincha, shuhu b'bechid dinim, which is an aspect of dinim at that time, the fi shuhu zivug ach ba'ach, because it's a zivug ach ba'ach. I guess we stop right there. Okay. That is the shear over here in that, and this is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kolo.